Hello guys, this is Son of the Soil again. We were doing number 4. Yeah, we're doing number 4 before the video went haywire there. Yes, so number 4 is we're calculating the total comprehensive income. How do we do that? We use the same principle that says, that's all question number 4, that says assets equals to your equity plus your liabilities, isn't it? How much is your asset? Your land and buildings, which is 52165, plus your inventory 3173, plus your trade receivables of 31267 will give you a total of 86605, isn't it? And then your liabilities, you have 44. No, not 44. Let me erase there. You have your trade and other payables, which is 27625. You have your income in advance 1500. You have your accrued expenses 15605, and you have your total liabilities as 44730. Yes. So you have your asset there. You're going to replace this by your 888. It's not 88, it's actually 86605 equals to, you do have your opening. I'm just going to put it in brackets there. That's not our final answer. Plus, you do have your liabilities there as this figure, which is your 44730. So your assets equals to equity plus liabilities, isn't it? Then, if you want to determine, because the first thing that you have to do is determine, using our equation to determine how much the equity should be, isn't it? We have an opening equity, but how much is it supposed to be, at the end of the financial period? So we're saying your assets minus your liabilities is equals to your equity, isn't it? So you're saying 86605 minus your 44730 equals to your equity, isn't it? And how much are you gonna get there? You're gonna get, let me add it up. You're gonna get your equity as 41875. Isn't it? At the end, isn't it? That's the equity that. But remember, we have opening equity of 72504. So it went down from there to there. What causes equity to reduce? Two things. It's either there was a loss or there were drawings. What causes equity to increase? It's either there is a profit, the owner put or injected more capital, into the business, isn't it? So in this case, it's reducing. Your mind should go, were there drawings? In the question, you're told that there were no drawings, isn't it? So what was it? So our only solution, or our only reason why it could reduce, is there was a loss. Yes, there was a loss. How do you calculate the loss now? It reduced from 2506 to 41875, isn't it? So it reduced by how many or how much? It reduced by how much? And let's calculate it there. Minus 7272506. So how much? It reduced by 30631. So this is our loss. Do we have a solution like that? Let's go to the question. A loss, we do have that. So question 4 solution is equals to 1, isn't it? So proceed to question 5. What does question 5 requires us to do? We have a table again, question 5, and additional information there, question 5. The amount to be recognized for credit losses in the statement of P&L and other comprehensive income. And we need to determine how much is your credit losses. It's a very good question. And maybe we might need to, perhaps let's just discuss what credit loss is, although I mentioned it a bit earlier there. So when someone fails to pay, they are called a bad debt. When they're insolvent or any other issues that regard them as a bad debt. When that happens, the journal entry is you debit your credit losses and then credit your trade and other receivable, isn't it? You're reducing your trade and other receivables or your debtors because this person can't pay anymore. So you are expensing it. You're putting it into your statement of comprehensive income, isn't it? But there are instances where a financial manager decides to create a provision or an allowance to say not all the trade and other receivables, or not all, it's not 100% of our debtors that are going to pay us. So let's be not optimistic that all of them are going to pay. Some are going to run away, some are not going to find them, some are going to be declared insolvent and all that. So those are all the risks that companies, bear. So on creation of credit loss, when the credit manager has decided to create a credit loss, what do we do, isn't it? So we're debiting the credit losses and crediting what is called allowance for credit loss by the same amount, isn't it? In the following year, when they have decided to increase the credit loss allowance or allowance for credit loss, to say maybe last year it was 100, they said to say, oh, a lot of people can't pay, let us increase it to 250. What do you do to journalize it? You look at the difference. So last year it was 100 and now it's 150. It increased by what? By 50 rand, isn't it? So what do? You are debiting credit loss and crediting allowance for credit loss by 50 rand, so that it increased from 100, which was last year, to 150, which is this current year, isn't it? And when it decreases now, when the credit loss is, is, is reduced, what do? For example, instead of this credit loss to be 100 rand, instead of it being 100 rand, it becomes 50 rand. So it reduced by 50, isn't it? So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We are going to reduce our allowance for credit loss by crediting allowance for credit loss, and then excuse me a bit. What are we going to do? If it reduces by 50 rand, we're going to debit an allowance for credit loss because we are reducing. Remember, that allowance for credit loss carries a credit balance. It carries a credit balance, so we're going to reduce the allowance for credit loss by 50 rand by debiting it and then crediting our statement of comprehensive income. Statement of comprehensive income. So in this case, in this example, do we have? Yes, we do have allowance. Part G, they're saying allowance for credit loss must be adjusted to 4% of trade and other receivables, isn't it? How much is 4%? So you just say 4 over 100, which is 4%, 4 over 100, 4% or 4 over 100, multiply by how much is your outstanding trade receivables. You got your trade receivables control. Trade receivable control has 21,300. So it's 21,300. Do you have anything to affect trade and other receivables? Yes, we do have point F, a credit note for returns. So it's going to reduce our trade and other receivables. So we need to minus the 2,300. Isn't it? Multiply by 4%. How much are you gonna get? Let me calculate there. So it's 2,300. No, it's 2,1,300 minus 2,300 equals to. Let me repaint.